Hello everybody. Today I'll start about international business online lecture series 1. Okay. You remember before midterm exams we have already discussed starting from mercantilism, Adam Smith and David Rickard about 18th and century, and also early 19th century David Rickard. Now we will discuss today various trade theories. First, the theory of Heckscher-Ohlin theories. Okay. This one was 1919 and 1933. Each these Heckscher-Ohlin started this theory, and then according to this theory, countries will export those goods that make intensive use of locally abundant factors, and will import goods that make intensive use of factors that are locally scarce. Okay, example is, for example, Pakistan is full of water because of the very big Indus River, and therefore cotton is very much needs lots of water. So cotton is also good for export, and also cement. So therefore Pakistan is exporting cottons that make intensive use of your products, which means locally abundant factors, which means waters. Okay, cement is also, there are sources of the of this cement materials. Okay, so this is a theory of Heckscher-Ohlin's theories. Now, thereafter, this theory sometimes doesn't works out. So they call it Leontief paradox. Leontief is a Nobel Prize Economics in 1973, and he postulated something like a paradox. US would be an exporter of capital-intensive goods and an importer of labor-intensive goods. Well, should be like this, but however, actually US is exports while less capital-intensive ones, for example, agricultural goods, and also some small minor electronics instruments that US, well, so the result was at variance with the predictions of the Heckscher-Ohlin theories. Well, quite ironically, US is exporting too much agricultural goods and not necessary capital intensive goods. So that is Leontief paradox. Why this Leontief paradox starts? Okay. Well, some explanations to this dilemma is a key assumption in Heckscher-Ohlin theory is that technologies are the same across the countries. This is very much simplifications of Heckscher-Ohlin's. Depending on the countries, technological level is different. So therefore, America is more high-tech industries they are exporting, not necessarily be a capital intensive. Okay. Another example is Japan's success in exporting automobiles since the 1970s has been based on relative abundance of capital, but also on its innovative manufacturing technologies. Okay. Japan is reasonably abundant for the capital, but not too much as America. But we fortunately had innovative manufacturing technologies. So that's why this is another examples explaining the Leontief paradox. The other theories, step by step today will go, the product life cycle theories. That was postulated by Raymond Vernon, initially proposed the theory in the mid-1960s. Okay. They say, he says, trade partners are influenced by where a new product is introduced. Okay, which means initially that product was introduced. For example, historically, say, the UK was very strong in textile industries, 19th century. Okay, and also United States also strong early 20th century for steel industries. Okay, trade partners are influenced by where a new product is introduced. But in global economy, these days, the theory seems to be less predictive, which means the product life cycle is initially textile started in the UK, and then that shifted to the US and also Japan. Okay, and then first, then the US exporting to the textile to the UK, and Japan is also exporting to the textile to the US. So initially certain products start US or UK or Britain or some other Germany's, and then that will shift it to the other countries, advanced countries, and then initially exporters became the importers of the same goods. So therefore, 1960s, Japan was very strong in textile exports. Now Japan is importing textiles, most of the things from China. So this is something like a product life cycle theories that is set by Raymond Vernon. Okay, and then new trade theory appears 1970s. Well, trade allows a nation to specialize in the production of certain goods, attaining scale economies. Well, if you start certain new businesses, well, videotape recorders, one time Japan was a big exporters, and now it is a different things, DVDs or somethings. And by this mechanism, the variety of goods available to consumers, while the average cost of those goods should fall. Well, this is the economies of the scales. Okay, that is new trade theories, 1970s. So this one will go into some other things. Some new trade theories have promoted the idea of strategic trade policy. Well, this is now happening right now. For example, even in the US, government supports the aeronautics industries. For example, the Boeings and Boeing 707, US government assisted, and then so much of the industry's strategies, government is involved. So national competitive advantage, Porter's diamond. Why some nations succeed and others fall in international competitions. Well, this is now the latest theories developing from the new trade theories. Now I'll go into Porter's diamond. Well, this theory will help to understand why does, for example, Japan do so well in the automobile industries. Okay, and why does the Switzerland excel in the production and the export of precision instruments and pharmaceuticals? Why do Germany and the US do well in the chemical industry? Well, maybe some of you know Michael Porter's 5 threats theories in the marketing and competitive marketing theories. The same Michael Porter is now saying determinants of national competitive advantage. This is Michael Porter's Diamond, that is 1990s. This is quite useful models which you wants to understand the things. Okay, in your textbooks, about page number 198, figure 6.6, that will explain. Well, now these diamonds, you can carefully look at it. Factor endowments, that is factors endowments, like Heckscher-Ohlin theories, you know that factors endowments. Pakistan is full of water and also relatively arable lands. Okay, America is also huge lands and also very good lands for the agriculture. And then demand conditions. Demand conditions is what kind of demands is available in those countries. Okay. For example, in a Japanese case, Japanese customers are sometimes very sophisticated. Why in Japan camera became so much big markets? Japanese peoples are very much interested in this kind of sophisticated instruments. Okay, so demand conditions, and some countries peoples are interested in much simpler goods and not too much sophisticated ones, or some countries more practical things they are interested. So these are demand conditions are different. Okay, and the factors endowments also different. And then there are also this is more important things, related and supporting industries. For example, automobile industry. Well, automobile industry is a kind of very much related to all the other industries. Okay, they need electric engineering, mechanical engineering, electronics, so much things. And then thereafter, assembling itself is a very simple thing. So related and supporting industries. For example, Toyota companies, employees employed by the Toyota main companies is about 100,000 or so. But under Toyota companies, there are lots of so many associated companies, subsidiaries, ventures, subcontractors are working. All in all, as a group, supporting industries who is living and depending on the Toyota Motors is more than about 500,000 or more than 1 million people. Okay, related and supporting industries. This is related companies, associated companies. This is they call it in Japanese systems well developed in their Toyota groups, for example. In same as for other Nippon Steel companies and also Sony's also. And then plus farm strategies, structure and libraries. Well, depending on the again competitions, Japan is a very competitive market. very serious competitions. So therefore, because of these competitions, their technologies are developing. R&D competition is all very hard. So these things, so therefore they need more sophisticated farm strategies and structures and libraries. And this area, you have to be careful. Is certain kinds of the government supports and sometimes government interference, it's coming here, okay? And then lots of lobbyings coming from the industries to make the laws more favorable to their industries. And sometimes US also in Japan, to protect their industries, they have to negotiate with other countries. America is especially this kind of things. Okay, and sometimes they will complain about the dumpings or too much low price, and then they will make the protective taxes. Recently it happened. America also imposed very heavy taxes for Chinese goods. Okay, this is a political area. So this farm strategy combined with the government policies, structure, and also libraries, competitions are related. Okay, so all these things are mutually factors and domains, okay, and also related supporting industries, and also demand conditions are mutually correlated, and then results to the national competitive advantage. That is Porter's diamond, 1990s it appears. Okay, so therefore it happens by lobbying government business firms can promote free trade or trade restrictions. Well, for certain industries they want a free trade, and certain industries needs some protections. So there are lots of sophisticated lobbying for the governments happens. So these are the theories of the Porter's diamonds. Okay, thank you very much. I'll stop here, and then we'll go next lecture for the foreign direct investments. That phase also relates to this Porter's diamond is a farm strategy, structure, libraries. All the mainly relates here, and also it will affect in supporting industries, okay, and the factor and domains, all these ones. So always when you are analyzing the competitive advantage of the nations, competitive advantage of the industries, if you remind this model, it is very useful for you to analyze the industries. Okay, thank you very much. Today I have finished this one.